I'm standing here with Howard Katz from thegoldspeculator.com, based in New Hampshire. You're also your articles appear on kitco.com sometimes.
Correct.
And you had some thoughts today about how people at the state level could help fight the Obamacare debacle that's coming our way.
Yeah, this is a monster issue. I've never seen the country so angry about an issue in my lifetime. And there's a movement started among state governments. I believe it's 38 states have initiated action to challenge the constitutionality of the Obama health care bill. And if 38 states have decided to do something, the Supreme Court will respect that and give it, they'll give it proper attention. They won't slough it off. I mean, usually if a small group of libertarians brings up what may be a very fine theoretical point, the courts just brush it aside because there aren't enough people behind it. But this is not going to be ignored, and it's not going to be slighted.
You work for us! You work for us!
And the way the polls are running now, and there will probably be a big Democratic defeat in November. There's an old principle from the 30s that the Supreme Court follows the election returns. Now the election returns are very likely to be running against them. And so it's very possible that there'll be a big swing around the country, but also in New Hampshire. And what we can do here in New Hampshire to promote liberty is get behind this issue and use it as an issue to stir up people locally.
Use it as a hammer to whack the Democrats over the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This election could be a reverse 1932.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I hear numbers that I've never heard before in my life. I believe it was Harry Reid now shows an 8% popularity rating in his. I'm not sure if that's around the nation or if that's in his home district.
It's the only one district that counts.
Mm-hmm.
The one objection I have maybe to your thinking would be this, and that is, isn't it better to kind of just go ahead and let the federal government collapse? I mean, do we really want to slow them down on their path to collapse?
The federal government is not going to collapse. If you look at Rome, the government got bigger and bigger and bigger and more oppressive and more oppressive. Now, it did ultimately collapse, and a large part of the reason for the barbarian invasion was the average Roman, I don't know what to call him, he wasn't a citizen anymore, he was more of a subject, but he began to think that he would get a better deal from the barbarians, and some people actually sided with the barbarians. Turned out the barbarians weren't any better, and just the whole what we know now, when we look back at that period, the whole society just sunk down lower and lower. Millions of people died. There was starvation. People couldn't make a living any honest way, so they turned to brigandage, and that made things harder for the few people who were still honest. And it was just a black period in human history.
Do you think that's more likely to be our future here rather than the Soviet model, if there's a collapse?
I hope not. Well, when the Soviet Union collapsed, the people of Russia didn't collapse. The people of those countries, they actually made things better. And I really don't know what the situation is with regard to communism, but if there is still some communism there, it's less rigorous.
Yeah.
And less rigid than it was.
Well, do you have any specific things, small, bite-sized things people can do here in New Hampshire to take advantage of this situation as best we can?
Let me think. My roommate, Scott Silva, he's pushing the 10th Amendment project, and he has a number
10th Amendment NH.org.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's a forum that people can contact if they want to support this. And he has a series of projects, some of which are fun to go, like he's having a blues concert coming up, and you can win a motorcycle. Harley Davidson. So it's a way to have fun and to promote liberty at the same time. And but you can do things like put out a little pamphlet in your home district and pass it out in the center of town, you know, or get a hold of a I just bought a Gadsden flag at the Liberty Forum, and I got it up.
Oh yeah, I have a couple Gadsdens for sale too, so maybe they can get them from me if they don't get them from someone else first.
Or you can write articles, letters to the editor in your local paper.
Yeah,
they're looking for letters, and you can take an ad in your local paper. It's not too expensive, you know. But I think almost anything, if you just use common politeness and you know, just normal human relationships. If you get up and say, "This is wrong," you know, say it in a nice way. There are some libertarians who would just offend people. You know, Ayn Rand just offended people. But there are an awful lot of people who don't pay anywhere near as much attention to politics as we do.
Right.
The one time every 4 years when we can reach these people, when they are paying some attention to politics, is in September and October of this year.